Hello everyone, Luke Smith here. It's Saturday yet again, so another quickie reading. This is the article of Carpetbaggers. I thought I had done it, but I looked through my stuff. I didn't do this one. But first, we're gonna do a lowdown of 2 months. One I missed. I thought I did the August one. Turned out I didn't because more information was added to it, and the November one. So August 2022. On the 1st of August, 1 year anniversary of Chris being arrested in the motel parking lot in the wake of the revelation that he has been engaging in incestuous relations with his mother. On the 5th, David Hellberg, let's check something, yeah that's fine. Hellberg files for autism disorder deferred disposition for Chris's incest charge. Chris writes to Kenneth saying, among other things, that the monkeypox outbreak was prefigured by the homo vaccine plot in Sonic number 10. On the 8th, the grand jury hearing for Chris's incest charge results in no indictment presented continued, clarified by Rave right to indictment being noted. The order is issued for continued custody. On the 9th, a motion of a pre-trial takes place and results in another continuance. Two unspecified order were noted, one given by the judge. On the 10th, it is learnt that Chris's case is now being sealed by a court due to constant pestering from Reams, Carpetbaggers and others alike. A transportation order is issued, so if everyone kept well away and just let the courts do their thing, then we would actually get decent updates by now, and it wouldn't be discontinued all the fucking time. So it's essentially Lorraine's faults. It's essentially people that groomed Chris's faults for getting involved in everything keeps phoning up because they fucked it up as always. On the 11th, Chris's court file is updated to note that a review is scheduled for August 2023. It is found that court staff had partially censored the public case file in light of the case being sealed. Remarks that were written into the pleading/court details page as of 9th of August no longer appear. On the 19th, Portfolio Recovery Associates file for garnish against Chris for unpaid debt. 22nd of August, the quickie starts experiencing the 2-month downtime. Chris draws as the prophesied scriptures shall manifest, starting his drawings again. On the 23rd, a unspecified order is really warm in here for some reason. Order is given by the judge regarding Chris's incest case. Chris draws, this is a GameStop ad, Sonic Q Prime and Rose Q Prime and Quickville's Crayon Master Emerald. On the 24th, a 4chan green text is made, falsely claiming that Chris Chan has escaped from prison, which goes viral on the 28th. On the 25th, Chris draws another drawing, and then on the 27th, another drawing, and then on the 28th, 6 more drawings. 29th, Ultimate Miracle drawing. Yeah, I'm not going to go through the drawing shit. On the 30th, in response to rumours, the Daily Dot confirms that Chris Chan did not escape. In fact, escape from custody. Because we already fucking knew that, didn't we? And Chris draws another 2 drawings. And on the 31st of August, Chris draws some other shit. So, in November, just gone, obviously. Notable events on the 3rd of November, on the 15th anniversary of Chris's Encyclopedia Dramatica page, which we still got to go through, by the way. I can't believe I haven't done that. It's probably because it's so fucking long. On the 8th of November, Election Day in the United States, as Chris is not yet a convicted felon, he still has the right to vote, but it's unknown if he exercised it or not. Probably didn't. and on the 24th of November was Thanksgiving. Let's get to the article at hand now. Carpetbaggers. Rounding out the holy content of white knights, A-logs, enablers and reams, carpetbaggers, sometimes referred to couch cases, clout cases, okay, are most successful people in the Christian bubble who attempt to take advantage of Chris's infamy or the events that surround him for their own personal gain. Typically for selfish, dishonest or immoral purposes. Once deemed as a special breed of reams, they are now considered their own form of utter annoyance due to their widespread debut during the post-merge era. On top of that, they are considered some of the absolute worst people to have contacted Chris due to their underhand tactics to take advantage of his infamy. The main difference between reams and carpetbaggers that is the latter tends to run semi-successful channels, comics or conspiracies purely for the sake of taking advantage of Chris's infamy alone. Along with that, whereas reams tend to be tryhards that fail to make fools of themselves, that fail and make fools of themselves, and therefore are seen as nothing more than a minor annoyance. Carpetbaggers are often successful enough to gain recognition, often gaining online infamy for their dishonest practices. This is also what sets carpetbaggers apart from other content groups, in that whenever the other four are full of people that are easily forgotten in history, carpetbaggers leave much bigger immediate impact on history itself, usually in the form of influencing people from other four groups. Or if their intent for chasing clout is by manipulating him, doing so changes his mindset, which often affects his delusions. People like Ben Saint, Whitfield and Gibby are deemed as carpetbaggers due to the ways they took advantage of Chris's online infamy and or the people around him to gain recognition for themselves. Important factors. This is only a short article, by the way. Chris's presence on the internet. On a continuum between internet nobody and internet celeb, Chris would occupy the halfway point. He's documented enough through game to garner comprehensive coverage on this very wiki, but not enough to warrant a Wikipedia article. He has been referenced by a multitude of multimedia creators, yet he isn't exactly a household name. He doesn't have the charisma required to be a Kardashian famous, yet he has the oddity. Because of his status that's on the cusp of fame, covering Chris can look promising. You already have the community of Chris orbiters, but there is also a large untapped market of lay people, many of whom enjoy true crime media. Incest. During the incest saga, Chris was getting a large amount of mainstream attention, and many sources tried to capitalize off of his new mainstream infamy for profit. In other words, when he got done for incest, then a lot of people looked at the news and thought, oh, this is going to be a good subject to make videos about. After the Orbiter rave, nothing in that bit, arguments against carpetbagging. It ultimately takes away the fun of watching Chris. One of Chris's biggest mottos is that nobody trolls Chris better than Chris, meaning that no matter what one plans to be the trolling champion, Chris himself still manages to be the greatest obstacle to himself that no one else can. that motto still holds up today. What several carpetbaggers do not seem to realise is that most of the fun watching Chris comes from the unusual way he responds to people and events himself. Manipulating Chris is not the least is not in the least bit impressive. For many sagas have, I'll read that again because I read that completely wrong. If Chris's many sagas has proven anything, is that he is a gullible numbskull that will never learn from past mistakes. What one may notice that many of these sagas involve Chris being tricked into doing something. Therefore, one may be tempted to go down in history as the next best troll by posing as a false ally. And to make matters better, manipulating Chris has been far easier than it has before, thanks to his inability to discern reality from fiction. To many, this seems like the perfect opportunity to become noticed by local trolls and win some quick popularity. However, some people rarely take into account how minimal this may turn out to be, such as as much as some people take enabling Chris for granted these days. You must remember that even before the idea guys, manipulating Chris was never a new or groundbreaking tactic. As a matter of fact, one of the earliest methods of trolling him, as well as the most simplistic. No matter what you do with him, all you need to do is pretend to give Chris what he wants, confirm a belief he holds dearly, regardless of whenever or not you truly feel that way, and then give him directions on how he can achieve it. Blue Spike, for example, was a 13-year-old who wanted to take advantage of Chris's lust for having a sweetheart. Chris mistook him for another sweetheart solely due to his voice, but he didn't fucking change it one bit. He was still sounding the same, and Chris obviously thought he was a woman. And Blue Spike was able to go under the pseudonym of Julie. He then told Chris that his persona would date him under a few conditions in order to tell him to take part on whatever he wants him to. The first majority of trolling involved Blue Spike having phone sex for hours every night as Chris masturbated. Afterwards, he decided to further take advantage of the situation by telling him to shove his Sonic medallion up his arse and telling him to record himself having sex with a blow-up doll. Does this sound familiar? The reason why trolls like Blanca and Miyamoto, even though the person posing as the Miyamoto troll, are important to historians because it's not just because they managed to trick a mentally handicapped man, nor is because they did what the least was the least bit honourable in the first place. It was primarily because the way Chris had responded to said manipulation. Had they only existed today, they would not nearly be as praised, but they would be looked down upon as tryhards and possibly even disgraced for even attempting to contact Chris. Some notable trolls has used this technique are not even notable for good reasons. Names like Blue Spike and the Idea Guys still live in infamy from this excessive, cruel and uncasual technique says they have used on Chris to make him harm himself. Aside from that, the last thing that would be to be associated with a fat, smelly, cross-dressing child or adult child so out of touch with reality. He believes that world building counts as a real job, just to make him believe it's okay to continue living like that. That's the thing, because like Chris has been deranged for like ages, like seriously ages. Think about it. If Chris is just like believing, will just believe anything you tell him that easily, sees no problems being manipulated as long as you act kind to him, and only sees every manipulator as a means to confirm his own lazy theories, do you really think that manipulating him will make you the next trolling sensation? The bottom line is, if you attempt to manipulate Chris, will not make you stand out from everyone else, and that has tried to do so, and it can come off as desperate to gain 15 minutes of internet fame. Hazardous and dishonest journalism spreads misinformation about Christery. It is absolutely important to remember that the conscious on everything Chris can related, as well as how many people are now keeping up with his life story, has changed quite drastically with the new wave of coverage. Consider how people that vaguely heard of him, even mainstream news hosts, legitimately believe that Chan is Chris's real last name. It is more important than ever to make sure that the documentation of Christery is done with integrity in mind. For example, the semi-popular Chris Chan journalist Gibby attempted to try his hand at being the first to report information regarding the Bella saga, even when little information was put out, ignoring the conflict of interest. He did by consulting Bella herself, who was known to be a habitual liar, especially when it came to her own schemes, along with an underage user in her circle. He then took her word that the suitress was the one who manipulated Chris into having sex with his mother, even when those who were paying attention knew that he did it by his own volition, and that it was Bella who encouraged him to keep going. Haphazard journalism can also result in unneeded drama. A major component of Carpetbaggers that separate them from other groups represented in the content is that they have a massive influence on the other four approach Chris on how the other four or people related to him. A major example of this again is Gibby, who decided to jump on the Bella bandwagon by being one of the first to document the event, in spite of what little information there was regarding Bella at the time, despite it being abundantly clear from the other sources that Bella was a habitual liar and psychopath. Gibby decided to interview her first and get all the information regarding the events out of her so-called hero in the Chris Chan saga, damaging your own reputation. As with the other groups in the holy content, Carpetbaggers risk inflicting serious damage on their own reputation when their efforts backfire. See also Orbiter Rave and the Tucker Carlson clip. Alright, so that was it for this video, under 20 minutes, not that bad. Yeah, a little bit more information there. I will be getting into other articles from next week, so I hope you enjoyed this little article reading. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and also on your left hand side of the screen is the support links. If you want to support the channel, you can, and I will see you guys next time.